is GTA 6 going to be featuring a drug cartel? Now, if you guys aren't aware of what a drug cartel is, it's essentially just a criminal organization. If you guys are familiar with Pablo Escobar, he was a well-known criminal that was distributing a lot of cocaine drugs from Miami anyways or Florida to Cuba and back and forth. So the thing that a lot of people have been saying and speculating in the community, but there's actually been some leaks that have come out in relation to this, that GTA 6 could potentially be featuring a drug cartel. Could there be something in relation to Vice City and Cuba, whatever the parody version name of that may potentially be if it is included? I've gone over this in one of my videos about a month ago or whatever, saying if GTA 6 is going to be including Cuba. There was actually a leak that did come out from Tyler McVicker. I don't know if you're familiar with Tyler McVicker.
Yes.
Yes, you are? Yeah. So essentially, he, from what we can understand, he's leaked a lot of things in the past in relation to, I think, like Valve and other games as well. I think the Summer Games Fest, I think back last year or the year before, he leaked some stuff prior to that and actually got it right. So he's been correct, been a bit accurate on a few things in the past. Not anything in relation to Rockstar, but still interesting nonetheless to touch on this. And essentially he said that GTA 6 is going to be featuring a Bonnie and Clyde-like duo, which we know now as Jason and Lucia. Two playable characters. It takes place with like a time jump, and it's going to be featuring Cuba. It's about the drug trade. It's about bank robbing, all of this, right? Now, obviously, we've got to take it all with a grain of salt, as with any leak, but considering we are in the setting of Miami, Florida, and Cuba's very close to that geographically anyways, I think it's pretty plausible to see maybe something occur that we maybe have like a mission or a cutscene in Cuba, similar to how it was in Red Dead Redemption 2 with Guarma. But yeah, what's your take on it?
Yeah, I mean, so Florida is like the Keys in particular. They are known for being the smuggler's route of entry into the port of Miami. In fact, in the trailer we saw Fat Albert, which is basically a blimp in the air. On that shot of the Keys where we got the seaplane flying over the bridge, you can see Fat Albert in the distance, and that is literally used to detect like underwater drug smugglers and stuff like that. That's literally what it's for. That is a staple in Miami. It's a really well-known thing. It's been there for years. I'm not even sure if it's still operational or not. But the port of Miami is literally the place where pretty much all of the cocaine comes into America. So it is literally like Miami, Florida is, I mean, in the 80s, it was the capital of cocaine. In fact, some of America's biggest Class A drug problems have stemmed from everything that happened in the 80s and continue to happen even to this day. For example, if you're riding on a boat anywhere near the Florida Keys, it's very likely, extremely likely, that you'll be stopped by Border Patrol and they will check out what you are, who you are, your vehicle call sign, all of that stuff, because of it. In fact, there's many YouTube channels like Heavy D Sparks. He bought a boat in Florida and they even got stopped by the Border Patrol there to make sure that they weren't smuggling. Like it's a common thing because it is the gateway from the South Americas, particularly Colombia. A lot of people are making homemade submarines and sailing up from South America into Miami. So I think there will definitely, in my personal opinion, I think we'll definitely have strong references to the drug trade. Yeah, it's a staple of Miami. Like Miami, Florida is known for it. Obviously, I'm not saying anything negative about Miami. Like, it's a wonderful place, but like there is a connotation with the drugs trade, especially cocaine, coming up into Miami. And Rockstar, in my opinion, they can't talk about Miami without talking about that, because I mean, Pablo Escobar's drugs all came up into Miami. I think having a kingpin like him as like a, not a protagonist, what's the other word? Antagonist, is that the word? Yeah,
like, yeah, I know you're trying. Yeah, antagonist. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So I feel like that would be a very, very cool story. Obviously, so many movies have told that story, but to not include it would be criminal. So
yeah, and I'm sure maybe if they do include something like that, they'll probably take maybe some inspiration from that Netflix show. Was it Narcos?
Yeah, Narcos.
Show?
Yeah.
That could, yeah, maybe they could take some inspiration from that. But we actually did see in that same shot that you're referring to, the one overlooking the Florida Keys, there was actually some shipping containers going in and out of the port to the left-hand side of the shot,
Yes.
in the water. So, yeah, I can definitely see this happening. For sure.
I think for sure there's definitely going to be some references to it. Like that has to be. I think. I'm not really interested in like dealing weed in Vice City. Like, if there's going to be drug related missions and drug inspired themes throughout the game, which we can assume there will be because it is Rockstar Games, like it will have to be the white powdery stuff. It's just a staple of Miami culture, and this is why, in my opinion, like this is kind of taking on to a different point entirely, but I would love a time shift, like going back to the 80s. I don't think it will happen, of course not, but 80s Miami is just like, it's a cultural thing. I mean, everything, even the logo for this podcast is taken from 80s scripture and 80s text. Like, I think 80s Miami is a pinpoint staple of the culture of Miami and what it's known for, and also how it's been represented in media, like films and stuff. So I would love for an inspired mission or a set of missions that are linked to that.
Please, yeah.
Like, imagine having to smuggle a load of contraband up through the waterways at night in a speedboat or something. That would be so cool.
Oh man, with the technology as well that's going to be implemented in GTA 6. Oh my god, that'd be sick. Like, if it's not a mission or anything like that where we see like a time jump or something, I think it would be cool to see at least some references, whether it be like on like I think it'd be really cool to see like an in-game TV program, perhaps maybe showcasing like maybe like a parody version of like Miami Vice or something like that. That would be sick. Like, so like a show or something like that. That'd be absolutely awesome. But yeah, that'd be really, really cool.
No, I'm genuinely like, I'd love to see like, I obviously the game is set in modern times from what we can tell, and I would just love some references to 80s Miami culture because it's still present. Like, the biggest thing about Miami culture is excess. The larger than life characters, the massive super yachts, the severe amount of money that comes into the port of Miami. Like, obviously in the leaks we saw a shot of Jason cutting open a container in the port, where he got a Sanchez motorbike out of it, and like the idea that we can break into containers and stuff is, it's leading me more towards the idea that there's going to be some stuff happening in the port of Miami.
Yeah, that's a really good point you bring up. I'd love to see it. Seeing that we're obviously going to be having a lot of tools at our disposal anyways, like, at the end of the day, our protagonists are criminals, you know what I mean? So I think it's pretty plausible to suggest that we may be seeing this more likely than not.